Hello, and welcome to our channel, Like a Radio Hour, where we bring you the most fascinating facts and stories from history and also, honestly, whatever we find interesting. We upload one video every Thursday on the topics we like and find interesting, so be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most mysterious events in American history, the unsolved bombing of Wall Street in 1920. Let's dive into the 5 most interesting facts about this case. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe. On September 16, 1920, at 12:01 p.m., a bomb exploded on Wall Street in front of the J.P. Morgan building. The blast killed 38 people and injured over 400 others. This bombing was the largest and deadliest terrorist attack in U.S. history up until that point. Fact 1. The bombing's impact on shaping modern-day capitalism. The 1920 bombing of Wall Street was a significant event in American history, with far-reaching consequences for the country's political and social landscape. In fact, one could argue that it was the exact justification the federal government needed to escalate its war on labor. Fact 2. Impact on labor movement. The bombing occurred during a time of intense social and political upheaval in the United States, with many workers striking and calling for better working conditions and higher wages. The Gilded Age had ended at the turn of the century. Wealth and class stratification was growing. And, worst of all, Prohibition made it so hard that you just could not commiserate about your worries over a beer with the fellas. Well, to be pedantic, alcohol consumption didn't actually decrease during Prohibition, but crime related to alcohol certainly did. The bombing was seen as a violent attack on American capitalism, and for the capitalist class in America. This honestly proved to be pretty convenient. The government responded by cracking down on labor activism and labor unions, which weakened the power of the labor movement and helped solidify the position of corporations and business owners. Judges were oh so happy to oblige whenever the conflict between labor and capital went to court. Why was this? Well, there's a couple factors. Judges at the time, as they are now, were overwhelmingly rich white men, many in possession of the means of production, or at the very least, running in the same social circles as those who do. Another theory is that the belief that workers held in some extrajudicial right to own the fruits of their labor represented a threat not only to capital, but to the judicial system itself. Sorry, I feel myself getting pushed off track. I think we can talk about that in another video. The point is, we feel these repercussions to this day, where union density is at a devastatingly low point, and the judiciary is more than content to oversee the degradation of labor power in America. While we can't neatly trace these developments back to the Wall Street bombing, the bombing certainly prevented a neat excuse for capital and its cronies to crack down on labor. Fact 3. Increase in government surveillance and the birth of modern-day surveillance state. The bombing also fueled fears of radicalism and terrorism, leading to increased government surveillance and stricter immigration laws. In fact, many people argue that the bombing of Wall Street actually led to the modern-day FBI. In 1908, the U.S. government created the Bureau of Investigation, BOI, which was tasked with investigating federal crimes. After the Wall Street bombing, the BOI's role was expanded to include investigating political crimes and threats to national security, leading to its rebranding as the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI's focus on investigating radical political groups and individuals helped create a more secure environment for businesses to operate in and contributed to the growth of the capitalist system in America. The FBI became one of the most powerful and influential government agencies in the United States, and its legacy continues to shape American society to this day. Fact 4. Perception of radicalism and terrorism in America. The bombing also changed the public perception of radicalism and terrorism, which became associated with violent acts and threats to American security. This helped solidify support for the capitalist system and weakened public support for more radical political ideologies. More astute listeners may actually draw some parallels between the Wall Street bombing and 9/11. After the September 11th attacks in 2001, the perception of terrorism in America was once again shaped by a major act of violence. The 9/11 attacks further solidified the association between radicalism and terrorism with violence and threats to American security, leading to increased government surveillance and a more restrictive political climate. Just as the bombing of Wall Street helped shape the modern-day capitalist system in America, the 9/11 attacks continue to shape American society and the nation's political discourse. The legacy of the bombing of Wall Street and the fear of radicalism and terrorism continue to shape American society to this day. The modern-day capitalist system in America is built on the foundation of stability and security, and the bombing of Wall Street ironically played a significant role in helping to create that foundation. Fact 5. Nobody was ever caught. One of the scariest aspects of the bombing is that despite the extensive damage, no one was ever charged or convicted for the bombing. The investigation was hampered by a lack of evidence and conflicting eyewitness testimony, and the case remains unsolved to this day. To this day, the bombing remains one of the most intriguing and unsolved crimes in American history. Despite the efforts of numerous investigators and amateur sleuths, the identity of the bombers and their motives remain a mystery. The bombing of Wall Street in 1920 remains one of the most mysterious crimes in American history. Despite numerous investigations, the identity of the bombers and their motives have never been definitively established. However, there are several popular theories about who might have been behind the attack. Anarchist or socialist groups. Some believe that the bombing was carried out by anarchist or socialist groups who were active in the United States at the time and had a history of attacking symbols of American capitalism. Bolshevik government. Others point to the involvement of foreign actors, such as Bolshevik government in Russia, who may have been seeking to spread their ideology to the United States. Labor activists. The bombing also occurred during a time of intense social and political upheaval in the United States, with many workers striking and calling for better working conditions and higher wages. Some speculate that the bombing was carried out by labor activists as a statement against the wealthy and powerful. Italian organized crime. Some have pointed to the involvement of Italian organized crime, which was active in the United States at the time and had a history of violent acts. Anti-Semitic conspiracy. There are also theories that the bombing was carried out by an anti-Semitic conspiracy, targeting the powerful Jewish financiers who were based in the area. These are some of the most popular theories about the bombing of Wall Street, but the truth remains elusive to this day. Despite the efforts of numerous investigators and amateur sleuths, the case remains unsolved and the identity of the bombers remains a mystery. And those are the 5 most interesting facts about the unsolved bombing of Wall Street in 1920. We hope you enjoyed learning about this fascinating piece of history. If you have any questions or would like to share your thoughts on the case, leave a comment below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting content from our channel. We've got a lot of exciting content planned for you that we're stoked to share.